5 breath instant calm technique is a really quick fix if you need to combat any stress, any anxiety, if you just need to come back to your center, or if you need a moment just to get some clarity. It doesn't take very long to do. It's about 5 minutes altogether. So I'm going to go through this technique with you right now. It's called the 5 breath technique because there are 5 different breaths that you're going to do, one after the other, and they accumulate. So what you've done in the previous breath, you'll add onto in the next breath. So altogether, you'll probably be taking about 20 to 30 breaths because you'll obviously still be breathing while I'm giving you the instructions for the next breath. So yeah, it'll take about 5 minutes. So if you're ready to do this right now, then make yourself comfortable. Make sure that you're sitting upright. Relax your shoulders, lengthen your spine. And then when you're ready, I want you to close your eyes because that will help you to create a bigger sense of calm and becoming more centered within yourself. So once you've closed your eyes and you've found your comfortable position, we're going to start the practice. So the first breath that we do is just observing your natural breath. So take a moment here and just notice your breath. Notice how it feels. Notice how long or short your breath is. Notice if the breath flows easily or whether it feels disjointed. And this is your starting position. This is where we begin. So your second breath now is to breathe consciously. So you're going to consciously breathe in, consciously breathe out. And you'll notice that the conscious breath feels different to your natural breath. We don't normally pay attention to our breathing, it happens on its own. But when we start to breathe more consciously, it naturally makes our breath longer. And in addition to that, it draws our consciousness into it, so our mind becomes more focused. So we have this opportunity to let go of anything else that we're thinking about at this moment. So pay attention to your breath. And then the third breath is just paying attention to your exhale. So now what I want you to do is just notice breathing out. Be aware of your exhale. And I want you to follow your out breath all the way to the very end. So don't shortchange yourself when you breathe out. Follow the exhale right the way to the very end. And then notice what happens to your in-breath. Something magical happens to your inhale when you start to develop your exhale. So the next breath, the fourth breath that you're going to take, is now to focus on your inhale as well. So at the end of your next conscious exhale, when you're following the breath right to the very end, you're going to do the same on the inhale. So you're going to notice breathing in, follow the inhale right to the very end. And continue to do the same thing for the next few breaths. So consciously breathing out, following your exhale right to the very end. And then consciously breathing in and following that inhale right to the very end. Notice what happens to your breath. And notice what happens to your mind. So the last breath, the fifth part of this practice, is to continue with your following your inhale and following your exhale, But now you're going to be aware of the spaces in between the breaths. So at the end of your next inhale, when you have followed the breath right the way to the top, I want you to just pause momentarily and just watch the space in between the breath. And then do the same at the end of your exhale. So when you've emptied out all of the breath, just notice that space at the end of the breath before the inhale rises up again. And just continue with the next few breaths, being aware of this space in between the breaths. The still point, where nothing happens, where you're not breathing in, you're not breathing out. But it's a very natural space. We're not holding the breath. It's not a conscious retention of the breath. You're just observing the spaces between your breaths. So just do that for a couple more of your breaths. Breathing in consciously, watching the space between the breaths, and then breathing out consciously and watching the space before you breathe in again. And then at the end of your next exhale, I just want you to return back to breathing normally. Find your natural breath. Now it should feel a little more different. It should feel more spacious. It should feel calmer. And I want you to notice as well how your mind feels. Hopefully you are feeling more centered, having more clarity, feeling less stressed and less anxious. So I hope you've enjoyed that, the 5 breath instant calm fix. If you know anybody else who you think could really benefit from some quick instant calm fixing, then please do share this video with anyone that you would like. Thank you very much. Namaste.